All right, coming in clear. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna be
All right, coming in clear.
all right. We're gonna be addressing this bronze thing, this black and bronze thing. I've been wanting to get at this for a minute. I covered this on TikTok the other night, but of course, those of you who are listening, my TikTok, it was getting good too. It was getting really heated. And of course, we had no takers when it came to the term black and why we should keep it or should not keep it. So I decided to, you know, take on this topic. You know, this was a response to the should FBA stop calling themselves black. And Tariq Nasheed did this in order that he has black and he has bronze, right? Now, for those of you, who notice that you can clearly see that the image of the bronze woman looks more natural than the image of the so-called black woman or the so-called black man. Right? You can clearly see that. Let me just so I'll go off for a second. I was on for a second. But clearly see that the image right there, the bronze woman looks natural as opposed to so-called black man. And I'm gonna play a little bit of this here and there to show you what I'm talking about. One of our brothers, Enru Captain Brother Jenzal of our community, he called into Tariq Nasheed's show, and he was just speaking on the term black for our people going forward. And he was basically questioning, why it is that we are referring to ourselves as black. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and I want y'all to hear this. This discourse right here, this dialogue, and y'all tell me what y'all think. Hear the brother calling. Okay. Okay. Okay.
There we go. So why are we continuing to push the whole black thing with FDA? And that's essentially why not? We're already classified. So why not? Why are we continuing to push the whole because I would say like
hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Okay. All right. I have to mute. So hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I had to get. Okay. All right. Okay. So everybody should be able to hear this better. All right. I'm sorry about that. Now let me play this. Okay.
I'm black, but
okay. Here we go.
There we go. So why are we continuing to push the whole black thing?
So okay, let me go back to this.
How you doing, Mr. Nasheed? Had a quick question for you. In your profile picture, what color is your skin? Okay, and that would be the thing. Okay, let me ask you this: and what color is our skin? Mine is brown. There we go. So why are we continuing to push the whole black thing with FBA? And that's essentially why not? We're already classified. Why not? Because I would say, like you just said, you answered the question logically. You said that your skin is not black, but okay, so where does the black come from in the definition of FBA? That's just a racial status, basically. Okay, but you would say that you coined the phrase FBA, correct? The phrase FBA. Okay, that's clear. So if you're saying that our skin is not black, then why are we still upholding that classification? Well, we just because it's historical. Yeah, and we make blackness a cultural thing. We made blackness a positive cultural thing. We did.
Is it? Now he said that we're already classified as black, but who's classifying us as black? That's the question. You see, who's classifying as black? Could y'all hear what Tariq Nasheed was saying? I was playing some of the video. Could y'all hear it clearly? I want to make sure. Could y'all hear that clearly? You heard what he said, right? He said we're already classified as black, but who classified us as black? And he said that his skin is not black, it's brown. But I distinctly remember him one time saying that we black-skinned people. So which one is it? Do we got black skin or do we got brown skin? This is very important because people will say this is semantics and oh, why you know, what's with the semantics, you know, black, brown. It's not the same thing, and it's not semantics. I'm going to tell you why in a second. I want you to continue to listen. But can everybody hear that before I play it? Go on. Can everybody hear it? Is it clear? Is it coming in clear? What I just played of the conversation? Is it clear? Okay. I'm gonna finish playing this because I'm gonna break it down bit by bit. And by the way, fair use. It's fair use. I'm not profiting off of this, fair use. So here we go.
Get that. Now let me ask you this: what do you suggest we call ourselves?
I subscribe to the frame of mind of calling us bronze, but brown would be better than black, honestly. Because I think black would keep us in that system of the black and white. You know, you constantly say that we're in a system of white supremacy, and as us calling ourselves black, I think that would ultimately keep us under what you call that system of white supremacy, where we could continue to call ourselves something else and break out of that system, you know, especially at a time right now where we kind of hold the cards, whereas I'm only 30 years old. I just turned 30 last year, and I feel like the older generation kind of failed us. They didn't push the issue or try to control the table when they had the opportunity to. And I feel like we're kind of holding ourselves short by calling ourselves black, you know. In 30 more years, let me just say this real quick. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's unpack everything you said. You on them out.
Mm-hmm.
Bronze.
Sorry.
Bronze is it. We should. We're bronze and we're proud. We should go with bronze.
Like, I like that better than black, yes. Because ultimately our skin isn't black.
So, like, sit your bronze ass down. Really.
That sounds a lot better than black. Yes, sir. Yes.
And
there's
how is that going to affect white supremacy?
Okay, let me stop this for a second. Now, Tariq Nasheed is trying to clown the brother because he said we identify as bronze, which we do. Now, obviously, Tariq Nasheed don't know history because this is not the first time we're referring to ourselves as bronze. We black people, so-called black people today, back in the 50s, going back to the 50s and further back, they was referring to themselves as bronze people. Okay, they refer to themselves as bronze people, copper people, colored people. We didn't call ourselves black people. That came from racist Caucasians within the system of white tea supremacy. So Tariq Nasheed is saying that we should stay classifying as black people under the system of white tea supremacy and forget about what our ancestors, what our people, what our elders called themselves. Because if you go back and look, go and look up the term black and how our people resisted our elders. I'm talking about, this is not even a long time ago. I'm talking about the 50s, the 40s. They didn't want to be called black people because they knew it was meant to be an insult from racist Caucasians. Because at that time, and even back, they was making movies about blackface. They was making movies like Birth of a Nation back in 1915. They made a movie called Birth of a Nation. I'm not talking about the one Nate Parker did. I'm talking about the racist D.W. Griffith, this cracker who made a movie called Birth of a Nation. And he had a bunch of other dirty crackers running around putting black makeup on their face, smearing black makeup on their face and putting on woolly wigs and walking around acting like they was a bunch of savages and they grabbing up white women and all this other nonsense. So they were basically portraying us as black savages in that movie. Because Tariq Nasheed tried to make it seem like it was crazy that we refer to ourselves as bronze people, that the brother is crazy in doing that. However, there are two sections, and there were two sections, one in Illinois and one in California where he's at, that was called Bronzeville. Now, this was a section where our people stayed at and lived at. Bronzeville was a section for so-called black people. Okay, that because we refer to ourselves as bronze people. That's why we refer to it as Bronzeville. White people didn't give it that name. We called it that name. So when we were identifying ourselves as bronze people, you know, back in the 40s and 50s and going further back, we didn't call ourselves no black people. You see it up there. Bronzeville is still around today in California. I think the Asians done took over that area. But see, there's something powerful when you self-identify. When you're identifying, right? When you are identifying with something, that's a powerful thing to do when you identify with that. You see, our people, okay? Bronzeville, and it was Bronzeville in Illinois and Bronzeville in California. So what is Tariq Nasheed talking about? This is the guy that's supposed to be doing Hidden Colors, but he don't know that it was a time while people didn't want to be referred to as black people, and that term came from racist Caucasians, just like the term white people. So why is he Why is he going to make it seem like the brother's crazy for going with how we actually looked, how we described ourselves, but you rather go with the white T supremacists, the so-called white T supremacists, aka the white racists, who sit up here and call us black people as a way to denigrate our people. This is what he's saying. Y'all follow that? Why would you go with that? Why would you go with the white T supremacists calling? Wouldn't that be some kind of slave thing? Wouldn't that be some kind of slave Uncle Tom thing? You going with the white T supremacists? Forget about what we say about how we describe ourselves. We're going to go with the classification of the white man. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, it's still a Bronzeville. Yeah, it's still a Bronzeville in Chicago. That's still occupied by our people. So what is he talking about? Why is he trying to make it seem like that referring to ourselves as bronze is crazy? You know why? Because it don't go in alignment with white T supremacy. Because see, the only people that benefit from us being black is white racists. They're the only ones who benefit. We don't benefit from being black. In fact, we lose from being black. Notice that before we became black, because that terminology calling us black people didn't really start to stick into the late 1960s. Okay, because they were trying to push that, the elites were trying to push that whole black label onto our people, because prior to that, they was calling us Negroes and they was calling us colored. Now, the reason why they were referring to us as colored and Negroes simultaneously is because as colored people, that was the physical description of our people. We came in many different shades in color. And also with the term color, or calling us colored people, that was a connection to our description in the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of American, the copper-colored races who were found here by the Europeans. The term American was referred to as the people who were known as Americans were the copper-colored races. They're not talking about the red Mongoloid Native Americans. They're talking about the copper-colored bronze-skinned people falsely being called black. Our skin is shades of bronze, not black. So when you cut off the whole bronze thing, when you cut off the colored thing, the copper color, you cutting away our indigenous heritage, our first American heritage, and you linking us to Africa by calling us black. Y'all follow that? So it seems like he's more interested in fitting in with the system of white T supremacy and being in and of the system rather than standing up and being independent. He has an issue with our people being independent and calling ourselves what we want to call ourselves. We didn't call ourselves black people. No, but we didn't classify ourselves as black people. The same way we didn't classify ourselves as African American. Now y'all about to get FBA pushed on y'all. Now they trying to slowly push FBA. Y'all notice a pattern here? I want y'all to listen to the rest of this. Listen to the rest. It's not long.
Ultimately, I don't really care about that, but I just
hold on. Let me pull back some, because he also said, what is being bronze going to get our people in the system of white supremacy? How is that going to benefit us in the system of white supremacy? Well, how the hell is black benefiting us? How the hell is black benefiting us? Every time I turn around, black and white racism, the white T supremacy. How is black benefiting us? Black is not benefiting us. In fact, black has hurt us. Because why? Because notice before 1960, when we were colored people, when we were calling ourselves bronze people, we had our own sections, we had our own towns, we had our own businesses, everything. When we were colored people, we had our own everything. They called our towns colored towns. Colored towns were really colored, copper-colored people, the indigenous people. That was our last link to who we are as first Americans, American indigenous people. That was the last link to it. Okay. And you got people like this trying to sever our links to who we are as bronze people. Let me tell you something. All that, we in the system of white supremacy. Everybody in the system of white supremacy. Everybody's in the system of so-called white T supremacy. Everybody. That go for the Asians, the East Indians, the Arabs, everybody. The Africans, we all in it. If you spend money, you in the system. So my thing is saying that, how's that going to work in the system of white T supremacy? Here's the thing. If we maneuver through this system, we go through, at least we going through with our own name, with our own identity, not being handed down some identity from somebody else. You see, that's why everybody else moves differently within the so-called system of white supremacy, which is really a monetary system. The reason why everybody moves so differently from us is because they actually have their own culture. They actually have their own nationality. They actually know who the hell they are. We don't know who the hell we are. FBA is not no damn nationality. FBA is not no damn lineage. That's some made up shit Tariq Nasheed came out with. because nobody was calling themselves FBA until he came up with that. So he is the one that created FBA. That's not us. Just like Jesse Jackson really didn't create African American. That was something that was given to him by his Caucasian handlers to give off to our people. You see, right? Let me see this. Let me finish this. Listen, because that's the goal of a lot of these Sambo Boule coons. Their goal is to get out here and carry the water for their Caucasian handlers. You know, tell your people they black. Tell them they African American. And like I said, he no different than Umar Johnson. He no different than what's the guy's James Smalls, who he fell out with. He's no different. They all pushing this black Negro African American BS to our people. Listen to the rest of this stuff.
I like that better than black, yes. Because ultimately our skin isn't black.
Like, sit your bronze ass down. Yeah.
That sounds a lot better than black, yes, sir. Yes. And there's
how is that going to affect white supremacy?
How is black affecting white supremacy?
Ultimately, I don't really care about that, but I just think after, let me say this real quick, over time, people are going to be, okay, well, our skin isn't black. Why are we calling ourselves this? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you care because you come up with this, I got bronze. And you say that
he didn't come up with the ideology. What are you talking about? I just proved to you that our people was referring to themselves as bronze people back in the 40s, the 30s. So he just really picking up where they left off at, where our elders left off at. You going against our elders by calling them black people. You going against our elders by calling them black people. They didn't want to be called black people because they knew that that was meant to be an insult. The racist Caucasians, they've been trying to classify us as black people, aka Negroes. Negro, black is the same thing because Negro means black in Spanish. They were trying to classify us as blacks and Negroes because that's what they wanted. They classify the indigenous people to erase our indigenous identity. They wanted to erase our indigenous identity, our American identity. That's why they really stopped calling us colored people and they made us straight up into black people. We stopped using color and we thought that was a step up, but it was actually a step back because what it ended up doing is severing our connection to our first American, our indigenous heritage. Our real American Indian heritage has not to be confused with the Native Americans because we got American indigenous heritage here separate from the Native Americans. We always been in America. And when you sever colored, when you sever bronze, when you sever copper colored, when you sever all that, you severing our indigenous roots. And you pushing us more toward the whole African slave trade thing. Remember, Tariq Nasheed come up with this nonsense about some ethnogenesis where he talking about we came over here on some slave ships and we mixed in with the indigenous black people. He made that shit up, man. He made that up. But then he goes and does his own lineage. He talking about, I don't find no slave ships in my family line. My family was with the Lumbee Indians. Okay, so then what you saying? Your family was with the Lumbee Indians in North Carolina and you don't find no slave ships. So, but you say we all are the product of a slave ship coming here and we all half African and half indigenous American. So what you really calling us is African American. That's what he's calling you. When he's saying you FBA, he really saying you African American because does he not say that we are the product, FBAs are the product of Africans who came over during the transatlantic slave trade and they mixed in through slavery and they got mixed in with the indigenous people here. That's what Tariq Nasheed said, which is a bold-faced lie. You know why? Because he's always pointing out the differences between us and the Africans. How can there be differences between us and the Africans if we come from them? Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. How is he always pointing out things like our hairline, our music, everything? He's always saying we different from them, but then you saying we come from them. Make that make sense to me. If we come from them, then we the same people, you saying. You can't say, oh, we had some ethnogenesis. And where does the ethnogenesis come from? Where does this culture come from? Because our culture is not African, so then what is our culture then? We just made it up? No. Culture comes from something else. Culture comes from seeing something else, picking up where people, what you see again, people don't just make things out of thin air. They are influenced by something. So obviously somebody influenced us to have the kind of music we make, the food we eat, and it ain't white people, and the damn show wasn't no Native Americans. So where did our culture come from? Answer, our culture has always, always, always been in America. Our culture has always been in America. Our culture was never in Africa. You see, Tariq Nasheed just said he ain't got no African slave ship. So what are you saying? What are you saying? And why are you trying to discourage him from calling himself a bronze man? Because bronze is more descriptively accurate than black. Black is not accurate for our people. He just admitted that it is a classification, but a classification from who? I wish the brother would have asked that. So where does the classification come from? It don't come from us. But listen to his plebiscite babble, because he big on talking about plebiscite babble. Listen to this pseudo shit Tariq Nasheed say. Some plebiscite babble right here. You listen to this.
You stuck under white supremacy by using black. How does bronze take under white supremacy?
Because they ultimately, from the jump, were the ones calling us black or Negro. You're the true historian, so I can't say like when they started calling us black and whatnot. But I don't subscribe to the fact of calling us black. You know,
100% Spain. That's what they started. Well, even before they would use another term, Moor. Moor was a skin description. They would call them Moors because of their dark skin. Moor means black, basically. So then,
but like we just came to the conclusion that art isn't black. We both agree on that point, correct?
And he kept muting the brother too. He kept muting him. You see, and he trying to talk, plebiscite babbling. What's plebiscite about us describing who we actually are? Don't you understand how powerful it is? Because one of the things Tariq Nasheed said, I'll never forget this, the most powerful thing is self-identification. So if we identify as bronze people, that's self-identification because we decided we're going to be bronze people over here. You know, him calling people foundational Black American is still linked to the white T supremacists because the white T supremacists call us black people. I didn't hear him say not once that we called ourselves black people. He keep talking about the Spanish, the white, the Caucasians here calling us black people. Did you hear him yet say that, yeah, we called ourselves that? So you basically don't care about what we call ourselves. You care about what the white man calls us. That's what he's really saying. It don't mean nothing that we self-identify. It only means something when the white man say it. That's what he's really saying. So what does that sound like to y'all? What does that sound like to you? I want you to hear the rest of this. Hold on.
Yeah, there's some light-skinned people who are black.
What?
Exactly, and that's why I would say the same thing. That doesn't make any sense. How are you light-skinned black?
Well, here's the thing. White people's skin ain't white.
Here go the plebiscite babble right there. He just made a good point. How are you a light-skinned black person? There's no such thing as a light-skinned black person. What are you talking about? That's nothing but some white T supremacist made up classification to keep our people in a second class mindset and a second class citizenship status under this system. And he adheres to it. He is adhering to it. He trying to sell you black is a culture, and black is not no damn culture. It is a classification from a bunch of white T supremacists. So why is he in alignment with that? If you are so-called pro our people, if you so-called about our people claiming who they are, then you would dump black because that come from them. You shouldn't want nothing from them. You shouldn't want their names. You shouldn't want their classification. But he telling you we should accept that over what we are discovering about ourselves, because he didn't have no problem with these guys calling themselves Solon and all this other stuff, all these other pseudo titles that they making up. And again, no disrespect to the Solon brothers. I ain't got no disrespect to, not even to Tariq Nasheed, but I'm just showing you that how he tried to make it seem like it's crazy for us to call ourselves bronze people. Why? Because the white man didn't say call us bronze? Because he ain't calling us bronze people? Because he ain't going to recognize us being bronze people? It ain't about what he recognized, about what we recognize, about what's really true. We are and let me tell you something else. Tariq Nasheed quoted the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of American. He quoted it. Tariq Nasheed quoted that the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of American. He quoted it. So why would you quote that and say that that is an alignment to our people? Why would you quote that? It quotes us as being the copper-colored races. It describes us as the copper-colored races who were found here by the Europeans. So my question is this. Why is Tariq Nasheed acting like terms like copper and bronze are foreign to our people? Why is he doing that? Why is he trying to make the brother seem like he talking out his head or he plebiscite babbling when our people use those terms? Because those are the actual descriptions of our people. Why are you trying to make the brother seem like he crazy or stupid for making a real good point about our physical description? And because you can't answer it, you come with plebiscite babbling about what white people's skin ain't white and Asian people's skin ain't yellow and light skin. So then what you saying? So what you basically saying, none of that shit makes sense. It's all classifications from white tea supremacists, which he seems like he wants to uphold. Listen.
I'd agree with you on that, but I'm not white, so they can call themselves whatever, but I don't like the fact that we call ourselves white, because ultimately we just agreed that our skin is not black.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. White people's skin ain't white. Asian people's skin ain't yellow. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a status thing. But
a status given to who? By who? By who? Why won't he say where did the status come from? So why did you make mention of us being the copper-colored races, then turn around and tell me we black? Because again, like when they was calling us Negro back in the day, we were being classified as Negro and also colored. The color was meant to be a physical description of our people. The Negro was a status. The color, because they was calling us Negro, talking about the government referred to us as Negro people and colored people. Now that don't make sense because black and colored are two totally different things. Black is not a color. And I'm trying to explain to people because they'll say, oh, this is plebiscite babbling, using semantics. No, it's more than that. It's more than just a physical description. It's talking about real lineage. Our lineage is as first Americans, as the real American Indians, as the real indigenous Americans. But you don't know that if you're calling our people black people. If you're calling our people black people, then you're not talking. Then it's hard to know, okay, the people that are being described in the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of American, the copper-colored races that were found here, you wouldn't know that's our people because you're so busy calling our people black people. You're going to think it's the red Native Americans they talking about, which they are not. They talking about our people. Today, we come in a whole different bunch of shades of copper, bronze skin. We got bronze. We don't have no damn brown skin. Brown skin, the Mexicans, the Arabs, those people got brown skin. The Hindus, they got brown skin. We got bronze, copper-colored skin. Look at our skin. Look at the picture he put up. Look at the picture he put up. Does that sister in the picture not look like a bronze woman? She don't look like no black woman. Black is a classification, like I said, and he wants to uphold the classification from white tea supremacists. So what does that sound like he is? What does that sound like he is? Y'all tell me. We play the rest of this.
You react to it and how you frame it. We've taken black and we framed it in a way that's destructive.
And I'd agree with you on that too. And I don't like that either, because our people have throughout history taken the inferior part and we try to make the best out of it. Like something like chitlins, like that's nasty to eat, but we try to make something good out of it. So I just don't like the fact that we're calling ourselves black. And hopefully you could come up with something or another term. Because ultimately you say that you speak for a lineage, you're not the leader, but you are promoting, you're calling me black, and I don't agree with that,
Right.
And these are the type of discussion that I think that we should be having more of. And like I said, I'm asking this genuinely. I'm not coming out here in bad faith, I just wanted to get your opinion on that and then just see what you had to say, But ultimately, I don't think that we have black skin, so I think that things should change. We should be promoting something better, because once again, like I said, in 30 years, people are going to be like, hey, why are we calling ourselves black when our skin isn't black when we could be taking charge right now and setting the term? You said yourself that this is a renaissance that our people are going through.
Okay, let me give you some advice. That's a pointless argument. It's a time waste.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with being white supremacy, no matter.
Hold on. That's a pointless argument. Who the hell is he to decide what's pointless? Now, wait a minute. Tariq Nasheed keeps saying, he'll say he's not a leader, but pay attention. Tariq Nasheed keeps saying, when you saying we and us and what we ain't going to do and what this is, who are you to say that? I thought you wasn't a leader. I thought you wasn't a leader. You can't say you're not a leader, but then you saying things like we and us. When you including multiple people and saying what we ain't going to do and what us, you're speaking for people. So you are coming off as a leader. Yes, you are. Or by the least an influencer. He like to play these games and whatnot. Well, that's going to be time wasted. Oh, and what you're doing is progressive. Being black is progressive. That's not wasting time. Sitting around here worrying about some white people using the N-word, or some people calling N-word at some damn awards or BAFTA awards, constantly back and forth with black and white. That's not time wasting. That's not time wasting. Or sitting around waiting, talking about we gonna get some reparations because we black people, see, and they know us as black people, and that's how we gonna get our reparations. Bullshit. BS. They're not giving no reparations to us, whether we call ourselves black, brown, bronze, whatever. They not doing it. Over their dead bodies, they not giving us nothing. So all that, oh, that's not going to be effective. How is it not effective if we deciding that we're going to be what we truly are? Picking up where our elders left off at. Why are you trying to swat the brother down? You know why? Because it don't go with your agenda. Your agenda is FBA. And anything that's not FBA, foundational black American, you ain't trying to hear that. And that's fine. You don't have to. But it just shows you what he's really about. He's not about our people being independent and taking charge of their own identity and describing themselves. He's in alignment with what the white supremacists call us. That's what he's saying to you. Listen, am I getting any of this wrong? Am I getting any of this wrong? Because again, if you're saying we and us and you came up with the term FBA, then you the leader of FBA. I don't care what you're trying to say. Because again, only leaders say things like we and us and what we ain't doing. That's what how a leader talk. If you just by yourself and you just talking, you say, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that, but you're trying to influence people. That's what you're trying to do. But then it's like throwing your rock and hiding your hand. You trying to say, I'm not a leader, but you are a leader. Because you're the one telling people that we should do this and we don't need that. And what we going to do is delineate. Nobody was talking about delineation until you start talking about it. Nobody was talking about that. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, the delineation thing. I'm saying that all of that, as far as the black thing, the African thing, that's still linking us to the Africans. So listen to the rest of this. Because again, all that white people ain't got white skin and yellow people ain't got yellow skin. These are yeah, we know that from the white supremacists who you claim to be against, who you claim that you don't rock with them, but obviously you do.
What you call yourself, if they classify you non-white, you're going to be subjected to white supremacy. So you better know how to counter it. The only people who has countered consistently are the people who been classified as black over here, and that is foundational black American. That's why it's up with foundational black Americans right now. There's a renaissance going on right now with no black Americans.
What renaissance? What renaissance? And he talking about our people is countering that. Let me explain something to you. When our people were going through what they were going through here in this country, we was being called colored people. We were being called Negro. We was going through all this stuff beforehand. We went through more things back then before we became black. And then, like I said, a lot of people became black. You seen everything start to fall down. Our neighborhoods went to shit. Our morals went to shit once we became black people. Y'all ain't seen the downward spiral. Once we stopped being colored, once we stopped being bronze people, you seen the downward spiral. Where's Blackville at? Since he's talking about how good it is to be black and how black people ain't stood up against shit in America. They ain't stood up against nothing. They let everybody come and curtail their movements and their organizations, from Caucasians to the Jews. Everybody curtailed their movements. Black people that have all their movements curtailed, whether it be the NAACP, whether it be the Urban League, all them black organizations, all them black, colored, whatever you want to call organizations that they was trying to do, all of them things were curtailed. I call them Negro organizations. There was no colored organization because, again, they were trying to help our people, calling us black people. They were trying to classify us and keep us at the bottom. And he basically saying we should keep that terminology. You can move through a system because he gets on, if you non-white, you're going to be subject to the system of white supremacy. Everybody's under the system. Hello, even him. And he's a millionaire. You see, and everybody's under that system. And so at least we could be under that system and move as our own people. Black is not a lineage, okay? FBA is not a lineage. That's some made up shit, man. That's not no lineage. Just like African American ain't no damn lineage. But First American is, because we're the only real Americans here. We are the only real Americans by nationality in America. And so saying that we first Americans is more powerful than anything. Saying we are those bronze, copper-colored people that's spoken of as the real Americans in America, that gives us lineage. That gives us a connection to our indigenous ancestry, our first American ancestry. Black don't link us to shit. Black don't link us to shit, but a bunch of civil rights retreads, a bunch of burnouts, and everybody, a bunch of Sambos and Uncle Toms. That's why if you notice, whenever there's Black History Month, you don't really learn nothing about our people. You got so many people that did so much stuff I've never heard of in Black history. You always hear the same people when it comes to Black history. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Sojourner Truth, Marcus Garvey. You hear about the same 10 people. Frederick Douglass. You hear the same people, and they were all a bunch of Sambos and sellouts, man. All of them. Every last single one of them. You don't hear about the inventors like that. You don't hear about the people who had towns set up. You don't hear about people, millionaires buying up beaches and whatnot. You don't hear about no real excellence amongst our people. You hear about a bunch of Uncle Toms and Aunt Jemima retread, begging for civil rights ass Negroes, man. That's what you hear. That's what Black history is. That is what Black history is. You see? All right. Let me see. Somebody said, I'm here to clearly tell you that the word Black is a label, a brand, a commercial brand, and we are American nationals, United States cooperation, the national 38. Okay. The 38. Okay. Black History Month is done history. It is done history. Black history is done history. Yeah, it is. So, again, that's why I say the bronze thing is important, because the bronze description is how we actually look, and it links us to who we are as indigenous Americans. It links us to who we are as first Americans, because again, the copper-colored races, that's bronze. That's another way of saying bronze, the copper-colored races. So you telling me we can't define ourselves? Because again, let me tell you something. I'm not out here to try to get so-called Black people to start calling themselves bronze. No, because I know a lot of so-called Black people are mentally slow, and they don't understand when they having the wool pull over their eyes. They don't understand when they being misled with this Black thing, because a whole lot of these pro-Black Negroes out here are really a bunch of undercover boule Sambos. A lot of these pro-Blacks out here, these educated Negroes, these people in the spotlight are really just a bunch of sellouts. They really just a bunch of sellouts, and they're really supporting the system of white tea supremacy. You see, and one of the biggest ways to support it is by calling yourself an African, calling yourself Black, calling yourself a Negro, a descendant of slaves. That's all a bunch of white tea supremacist nonsense. That's all spawned by this belief that we came over here on some damn transatlantic slave ships. That's a lie. And Tariq Nasheed himself said he don't find no slave ships in his background. So what are he talking about? He don't even find no slave ships in his background. Remember that pseudo ass explanation he gave for the slave ship when some brother came there and asked him, well, what happened to all the slave ships? Because if they claim they brought 12 million people over here, where the slave ships at? Oh, they broke up at the bottom of the water. That's what happened to them. So you gonna tell me they don't have one slave ship? Not one? Okay. And the ones he named was the Amistad, which he found out from a movie, and some damn good ship Jesus. Only 2 ships. Really? You ain't, as much as white people keep things, you gonna tell me they don't got one ship nowhere? We can we go and see this slave ship? That slave ship be on display somewhere in the Smithsonian and somewhere in the dock where people could go on it and see. Why don't they have that? You mean to tell me out of all those voyages they made to bring all these people here, supposedly they don't got one ship? They all broke up at the bottom of the water. That's a damn lie. That is a lie that he made up, to keep pushing this lie that we came over here on African slave ships. Because keep in mind, the job of the boule coon, the Sambo, is to get out here and tell our people that we not really American. We from Africa. See, y'all was in trees, swinging in trees and studying Islam like that idiot Ben Carson said. You know, the doctor who was the Surgeon General under, I think he was under either, I think he was under Donald Trump or one of them. Dr. Ben Carson. I used to like Dr. Ben Carson. I'm like, he is an accomplished brother. He's a brain surgeon. And then when he said that bonehead shit about, oh, well, if it wasn't for slavery, we would have been, black people would have been in Africa swinging in trees or studying Islam. He actually said that stupid shit. I lost all respect for him. I said, you a Boule Coon. You a Sambo. You see? There ain't no damn slave. They can't even find they can't find. Do you understand how many slip ships would have had to bring all these people back and forth over 300 years? They claiming they've been bringing people here for 300 years, from the 1500s to the 1800s. So that's like 300 years they've been bringing so-called black people from Africa. Get out of here with that BS. Where's one of the ships at? They lying. They're lying. Let me finish playing the rest of this.
Recognize who we are and our legacy. All these other groups have to come and cosplay foundational Black American legacy by going to the Edmund Pettus Bridge and Selma and doing all of this stuff.
Plebiscite.
We've always been the secret false. But we don't have a problem. But Black is fine. I have zero problem with it. Foundational Black American is better or different. Like just sitting around trying to figure out what names you put on uniform, that's a time.
Well, that's what he said.
Wasting mechanism. We've already solved that.
Who's we? Who are you speaking for? For him, he keeps saying that's a waste of time. You know, we done already solved that. Who is we? He keeps saying we, but he's not a leader, right? Can we all agree on this? If you keep saying we, like when I say we in my community, when I say we, yes, I am the director of my community. I am the director, so I can say we. I admit that I'm a director of my community, yes. So if he's saying we, but then you saying we not a leader, and this is time wasted, who are you? You're not a leader, and so you trying to really be an influencer. You trying to tell what shoot something down. Who are you to decide that? And again, the brother came on your show respectfully, and you got every right to decline the word bronze, and that's fine. But don't sit up here and act like the brother crazy. Don't act like we didn't call ourselves that before black. Don't act like black is not some classification from the white supremacists who you claim to be against, but actually you are embracing their title for our people, which is a second-class title for the indigenous people of this land. That's a way for them to erase our indigenous heritage, and he's embracing it. Remember, he was the same one calling us pretendians, right? He was calling people was coming up saying we not African. He was calling us pretendian. Then all of a sudden he traced back his lineage. Oh, I don't find no slave ships in my background. My people was with the Lumbee people. Oh, really now? Really? Oh, I don't find no slave ships. So then you saying your people are indigenous to America? Huh? Then you said some nonsense about we indigenous to the United States of America. What does that mean? What does that mean? So where were we before the United States of America? Oh, that's right. In Africa, swinging in trees, studying Islam. And he got an Arabic name. But let me finish this madness.
We're on to the next thing.
I disagree with that.
By the way, brother,
yes, sir.
Where's your family from?
Here we go. Here you go. Why is he asking where the brother family from? This brother, his family's from here in America. Both his mother and father are first American indigenous people. He gonna ask that as a way to try to get out of what the brother was asking. The seriousness, he trying to clown the brother. He tried to do plebiscite babbling. Then all of a sudden, what's your lineage? Because he don't agree with FBA. This is who leading y'all. This is who y'all listening to. This is who you listening to. Somebody who told you got black skin. Oh, but now we got brown skin. Oh, that's plebiscite babbling because we want to self-identify who we are. We don't want to sit around and listen to the white supremacists telling us we black people. We from West Africa. We was in Africa swinging in trees and studying Islam and all that bullshit they say. You upholding that bullshit. You upholding it. I told you a lot of these pro-blacks are really a bunch of undercover Boule Sambos, man. Let me finish this, man.
That's the question. Great question. My mom's side of the family's from Virginia, a small town called Martinsville, and my father in Cleveland by way of Tennessee. So that's what I'm saying. You're trying to speak on what my lineage is, and I don't agree on term black. And I've actually heard that my own grandmother comes out of her own mouth and says that we're not black, skin wise. I've even heard you recently kind of push the indigenous thing. I've heard that in my family growing up to that indigenous lineage. So black just doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, I'm trying to come out here and try to change your mind or have an argument with you. I just wanted to kind of pick your brain.
That's from her. What race is on her birth certificate?
I've looked at other stuff. When I've gone back further on the records, stuff would say like mulatto or colored, but ultimately right now I would say black.
Right.
Once again, I don't agree with that. Just because they call you something doesn't mean that's what you are.
That's the reality.
No, not necessarily, because no.
Classified as black and they live in a black community and they're under black circumstances. You might not, but that doesn't change reality.
Hello. No, that's not reality. You're trying to make that reality. You live in a black neighborhood under black circumstances. And you know what that sounds like? Tell me if I'm wrong. Don't that sound like, look, you black? The white man say you black? You in the system of white supremacy, so you better learn to be black and just shut up. That's wasting time to sit up here and try to define yourself. Just shut up and be black. Ain't that what that sound like? Tell me I'm wrong. Don't that sound like the nigga from the Django? What's the nigga from the Django? That Samuel L. Jackson played? Don't that sound like that? Don't it sound like, look, you better stop trying to be other than black. Nigga, what you doing trying to think for yourself? See, you plebiscite babbling. See, you live in the system of white supremacy and you under black circumstances. Oh, you sound like a fucking slave. You sound like a motherfucking slave, raw and uncut. I get burned up when I hear that shit, man. That's Sambo talk. That's Sambo talk. Don't give me this shit about, oh, well, no, see, he trying to tell you what's reality. That's not reality. You want to make that reality. Just like these crackers want to sit up here and make it a reality that we black people and we're under black circumstances. What black circumstances? You a multi-millionaire. You living your best life. You driving Rolls Royces. What black circumstances? You under the same black circumstances as somebody living in the projects? You under the same black circumstances in a black neighborhood that you talking about that you don't live in? What are you talking about? What black circumstance? You a multi-millionaire and you live in a neighborhood, in a good neighborhood. And like I said, I live on my own estate. What black circumstance? Anything could happen to anybody at any time in this system. And shit, it happened to Bill Cosby, it could happen to anybody. But sitting up here talking some circumstance and what's reality, nothing he said is reality. Reality is we're not black people. We're not under no black circumstances. You see? We ain't under no damn black circumstances. That's some white supremacist bull crap that they use to push on our people to make us think we can't think without them or think beyond them or stand up for ourselves and define who the hell we are. That's what he's standing against while trying to act like you standing up for our people. You really standing against our people. Let me finish this. Out of his own mouth.
So the reality is that my skin is black.
Yeah, you just getting on the skin thing. It's really a status thing. Yeah.
Okay. So what would black as a status mean then? What ultimately, like, truly enlighten me on that? I'm asking that in good faith.
Yeah, that's a racial category. It's a racial category. It ain't got to be jet black for you to be a black person.
Whoa. Did he just say that's a racial category? Black is not a race. What race is black? Can anybody help me? What race is black? That's a racial category. He just said it was wait a minute. Did he not just say it was a racial classification, not a actual race? You see? Is it a race or is it a racial classification? See, because somebody say, oh, you plebiscite back. No. Are we physically, is there such a thing as a black race of people? Yes or no? Is there such a thing as a black race of people? Yes or no? I'm asking y'all in the chat. Is there such a thing as a black race of people? Please enlighten me, because he says there's something called black lineage and we are black people and that we are a racial, it's beyond just skin. Okay, so we not black by skin, but you said we had black skin. But then you said we don't got black skin. So then you saying it's beyond that. So you keep saying it's a racial classification. Then you said it's a race. So then which one is it? It's like 3-card Monty with this dude. It's a race, but then it's a racial classification, right? Which one is it? You see? All right. So my point is, you're trying to push this ideology of blackness, which comes from the white tea supremacists. That's where it comes from. This idea that where black people come from, the white tea supremacists. That's all you're standing on. They call us black people, and so we black people get over it. That's the reality. What the white man say, that's what it is. That's what he's saying to you. Does that sound like a person who is trying to empower us, or does that sound like a person who's trying to get us to go on this slave title? Because black is a damn slave title. Black is a slave title. Because if you sitting up here and letting other people classify you, ain't nobody classifying the Asians, ain't nobody classifying the Arabs, ain't nobody classifying the Hindus, ain't nobody classifying any of these other people. But everybody, you're letting the Caucasians sit up here and classify us. Here, we've been here before they were here. We was here before the Native American red natives were here. But we knew they knew we were the only real Americans here of this land. So why would you call us anything other than American or First American? Why would you call us anything other than that? Why are you calling us black people something that came from the racist white tea supremacists that you claim to be against? Why are you upholding any classifications from them? Why? You see, he's letting you know he's showing you who he really is. And again, I'm not against Tariq Nasheed at all. But again, when you say stuff like this, when you try to clown somebody, a brother who's asking intelligent questions, and you come with a bunch of plebiscite babbling bullshit about, oh, white people ain't got white skin and Asian people ain't got yellow skin. What that got to do with us? What that got to do with us? The copper-colored races who were found here by the Europeans. What the hell did that got to do with us? Listen to this.
Now we have a certain physiology like people.
Okay, here come the plebiscite babble right here. Listen to this bullshit.
The doctors say that. I talked to a doctor before, and he told me that black people, your muscles are more dense. This is why a lot of people, when they get organs, they want organs donated from a black person, because our organs are stronger and they have more muscle density in them. You understand?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it's a culture thing, but I just meant like as a classification. So who classified us as that, and why are we allowing them to still classify that when, like I'm saying, we're at a point in time where we can kind of set the record straight for the future and set ourselves up for even better future? Why are we continuing to go off of their classification?
Why we have terms like foundational Black American. That is our own classification. Understand?
That is not our classification. That's some shit you made up. That is not our. Why are you trying to speak? That sounds like Jesse Jackson all over again. We African American. Who's we? We got our own classification. No, it's some shit you made up that you trying to get people to accept. FBA is some shit Tariq Nasheed made up that he trying to get people to accept. That's all that is. That is not our classification. He going right in alignment with the white tea supremacists by still calling us black people. And a lot of you FBA is too dumb to see that. A lot of y'all too dense to see that. Y'all acting like somebody that we getting some real now. Even in the picture, you can see it looks off. In that picture, you see the bronze woman, her skin is bronze. He's telling you, no, we black people. The woman in the picture looks like she's radiant and beautiful. The person that's so-called black, his skin, he up against some damn gray background, don't even go with his skin. Exactly. FBA is African American 2026. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Listen to this plebiscite about talking about our muscles and black people's muscles. What the fuck does that got to do with us? What does that got to do with us calling ourselves black people and our skin ain't black? What does that got to do with that? What does that have to do with that? What does that have to do with us calling ourselves black people? Some muscles and our muscles this and our muscles that. Make that make sense to me. Am I making myself clear? Can everybody hear me? Am I coming in clear? Huh? Am I coming in clear?
Can everybody hear me?
Okay. I want to check. All right. So let you listen to the rest of this right here. Guys, I'm about to wrap this up. He started talking about somebody muscle black. So, okay, all you proved is that it's a whole bunch of our people who have been brainwashed into calling themselves black people. And what does that got to do with us calling ourselves something that we're not? Calling ourselves black-skinned people. We up here getting bent out of shape over these crazy-ass crackers rubbing black shoe polish on their face, and we sitting up here getting outraged on, man, I don't like blackface. That don't look like you. But these pro-blacks and these Pan-Africans, they try to get you to think you should be offended by blackface. We're not black people. They're trying to get you to align yourself with blackness because they're serving a whole nother purpose. They're serving a whole nother cause. Do y'all understand me? These pro-blacks are really boulets in disguise. It's meant to hold our people back. To shoot down brothers who saying intelligent things like this brother did, shoot that down, make it seem like he crazy and he plebiscite babbling. Here he come with this plebiscite babbling bullshit about, oh, see, our black muscles, see, and they want black organs and black. What does that got to do with anything?
Yeah. One last thing. Look, two other things. When you say hidden colors, that's what I'm kind of getting at too. I feel like we have a true hidden color. Our skin isn't black, so why are we continuous to go off that? Well, my point is still that we can be setting ourselves up for an even better future. I don't think black is truly it. We have an opportunity to set ourselves up for an even greater future. And I don't think black is it. Black is the past. We can come out even greater than this. And I like the work that you do. You've woken up a lot of things. I've seen the hidden colors. I know that you're constantly trying to push people towards a better future. As
you kind of plebiscite that, but bronze, that's not working. So I don't. Do you think people are gonna pick up on bronze? We're gonna call ourselves bronze.
Stupid. We did call ourselves bronze, and the brother was trying to show you respect, and you disrespected the brother right there. You think people gonna pick up on bronze? No, they will pick up on bronze, just like they picked up on black. They had to convince our people over time to be black. They got James Brown, who's a damn sellout. They used him to push the whole black thing. When he came out with that record in the 60s, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. That was being used as a programming tool against our people. They've been always trying to get us to classify ourselves as black people, meaning people who are no longer visible, meaning that your culture has been erased. And you see this nigga over here shooting it down, man. You see him over here shooting it down. The reality of who we are. Our ancestors, our elders called themselves bronze people. That's why there was Bronzeville in Chicago, which people still live there. Our people, thanks, brother, for letting me know. Our people still live in Bronzeville. There's Bronzeville in California where he is. How come he not talking about that in hidden colors? Why he trying to make it seem like the brother's crazy? Oh, and bronze ain't it. Who are you to decide what's it? Who are you? Unless you trying to say, unless you saying you're not a leader. If you're not a leader, then who are you to say what's it and what's not it? Who is he? You see? Listen.
If as fast as the FBA thing has popped off, we could have been popping bronze, and it could be a thing. I think that's something more positive that people will fall in line with.
All right, well, get out there in the streets and let people know about your bronze bit. Let them know.
Yeah, one last thing, Mr. Nasheed. I'd just like to say, May 16th and 17th, in Atlanta, we're having the first American Street Music Festival at Rodney Cook Senior Park. Thank you for your time, sir.
There you go, my bronze brother right there.
Respect.
All right. I wonder where his lineage was really from. There's a lot of...
You see? You see the clown shit? You see that? And he kept muting the brother because the brother had more things he was saying, but he muted and edited the video. That's it, man. Listen, man. That's a tactic of these pro-blacks out here, because when they're not making sense, they just start saying all kind of nonsense right there. So right there, he's really shooting us in the foot when it comes to who we are as bronze people, because there's nothing more empowering. There's nothing more empowering than taking hold of your own identity. We wake up and say, hey, because that's what our people did. We said we copper colored, we sepia. There's magazines out there that you can go look up where we had a magazine called Copper Magazine. Copper Magazine. I think this is before Ebony Magazine. Copper Magazine. We was calling ourselves sepia people. All forms of bronze or copper, we was referring to ourselves as we was going by this tone of our skin. We were going by the tone of our skin. And again, that linked us to who we are as indigenous people. So that you see why they want us to be black people and stop being colored people. Not saying we should go back to calling ourselves colored, but I'm saying the colored is what linked us to who we are as the copper colored races who were found here by the Europeans. So that's why they really stopped us from being colored and act like, oh, see, the upgrade is being black. You know, you used a lot of these pro-black Sambos who was out here in these groups coming up here talking about, you know, with the Pan-Africanism, they the ones that convinced us to go with black culture. They the ones that convinced us. But really behind the scenes, they was getting money from these Caucasians, these racist Caucasians who was trying to get us to accept black, because they kept trying to push black on us going back to the turn of the century, the 20th century, and our people wasn't going for it. They didn't want to be identified as black people. Our elders, why didn't Tariq Nasheed tell us that? Why didn't he tell you about Bronzeville, where our people did refer to themselves as bronze people? Why, if Mr. Hidden Colors, how come he don't know about that? And he's supposed to be a historian. You want to put money into a hidden Colors film 6, and this dude don't even know history? He don't even know history? You going to put money into a Hidden Colors 6, and he don't even know the history of our people here in America? He talking about this black shit, which basically you only going to deal with our interaction with the white supremacists, the Caucasian races when they came over here, the Europeans. That's the only time. You're not going to go back past our time with them, because you saying, oh, that time ain't important, that time don't matter. It only matter when we came in contact with these Caucasians and they start calling us Negroes and coloreds and all these other things, where they once called us American Indians. Now they started calling us, reclassifying us as American Negroes. And they wanted to, over time, erase any connection we had with this land. And they did it through the term black. They did it through the term Negro. And eventually through Jesse Jackass, they did it through African American. And as you can see, the saga continues with FBA. There you go, right there. I'm not going to play anymore. I said what I had to say on that, but he showed you what he really represents. He showed you right there what Tariq Nasheed showed you what he really represents. He represents the white supremacists and their slave title of black, that they should stay connected to our people. That's what he's saying. Tell me I'm wrong. Anybody tell me, am I wrong in anything I said tonight? Am I off on anything? I'll wait. Tell me, because I'm about to wrap this up in a minute. But tell me, did I say anything wrong tonight? Did I say anything wrong tonight? And then right afterwards, this Caucasian male came on. It's funny, right afterwards, this Caucasian male came on. He sounded like one of them J-Dub people. I'm going to just say he sounded like a J-Dub. And one of these Caucasian males came on. It was basically trying to, back up Tariq with the whole black thing. And, this guy's using semantics. He came on right after. I'm not going to play that part, but it was this cracker that come up there talking about, this guy is using semantics. Why is the white man coming up there? Why does he give a damn about the conversation we having about what we call ourselves? Why is a white man coming up there, a white boy, talking about, this guy's using semantics? No, he's not using semantics. It means something. What he was saying means something. It links us to something. Who we are as indigenous people. Who we are as indigenous people. So that white boy came up there to back up Tariq. I wonder why. That proves to you that these Caucasians, these racist Caucasians, and these J-Dubs, these Caucasians, they want us to be black people. You see, because the only people that benefit from us being black is them. The only people that benefit from us being black is them. You know why? Because whenever they do the crime stats, whenever they do the polls and the polling and things like that, that's a good way to classify. And they already know, because again, the reason why they definitely had to come up with the whole classification thing is because you had our people who had the same names as these Caucasians. So when they were trying to establish a white hierarchy, a so-called Caucasian European white hierarchy here in America, they had to do what? They had to subjugate and start to erase the indigenous so-called black people here. They start the indigenous bronze people. They started calling them Negroes. They started the reclassification immediately. Once these Caucasians started to come into America and feel themselves getting up the tobacco field, taking up land and stuff like that, once they started incorporating the indigenous bronze people here into slavery, forcing them, that's when they started the reclassification from American Indians to American Negro. Negro is black. Negro means black in Spanish. And from there on, they were erasing us every bit of the way, erasing our history, erasing who we are as the indigenous peoples of the Americas, because there's hundreds upon hundreds of American Indian tribes here that are not Native American. They don't tell you about that. The Native American tribes were on the West Coast. The American indigenous people, the American Indians, the first Americans, our people, were all over America. There were hundreds of tribes here, all over America, upstate New York, the Carolinas, all Delaware, all at Washington, D.C. Do you know that the reason the word Washington comes from the Washita Indians, which were a black, so-called a bronze tribe, so-called black tribe, and the people named Washington, they are descendants of that tribe. Denzel Washington, Isaiah Washington, one of my wives, her family is Washington. Again, those people who have the name Washington, they are linked to the Washita indigenous people, the Washita Indians, who are all upstate New York and all in Mount Vernon and everything. Those were the real Washita. And when George Washington, what he did was, his name was originally Wessington. Go look this up. His name was Wessington. His family name was Wessington. And when they came from England, because his family when they came over from England and they came amongst the Washita, they decided to Americanize their name. Now, keep in mind, that name Wessington is English. They wanted to Americanize their name. What does that mean? What does that mean to Americanize your name? Because you see Europeans do that all the time. They'll have Polish, whatever names they have, wherever they come from in Europe, and they say they Americanize their name. Where does the American part come from? Because the English are not Americans. White people are not Americans. They're not. They're citizens of the United States, but they're not indigenous Americans. So when George Washington, whose name was Wessington, he decided to take the Washita name, the Washita tribe, and mix it with the Wessington name, and that's how he got Washington. He created that name Washington. That's why, if you notice, you don't see many white people named Washington. You don't see many white people named Washington at all. Washington is Washington Duke, who was the guy who did the tobacco company, right? With Duke cigarettes. Those are all made up names. Their names was originally Wessington, and they changed it over to Washington, and they took the Washita name and they mixed it with Wessington. That's where the word Washington came from. They made up this lie that the word name Washington comes from some English word called Wani. And I'm like, how the hell you get Washington from Wani? They lying. They're lying as usual because they don't want to tell the truth. They got George Washington, all them original Caucasian. Listen, when they came over here with their English accents, their Irish accents and all of that, they came over here and got amongst the indigenous people through slavery, through interaction. And then eventually, if you notice, their accents start to disappear. Where did their accents go? Where did their English accents go? Where did their Irish accents go? Where did all their accents go? They came over here with accents. They couldn't even speak the language. And where did their accents go? How come they sounded like what they sounded like? They didn't sound like what they sound like coming from their country. Then when you see them in the 20th century, they sound totally different. So where does that influence come from? Where does it come from? You see, the Washita, historically known as the Achuwa, were a Native American tribe in Achuwa River Valley, now part of Louisiana, Arkansas. And they were all over the place. They were in Arkansas, Louisiana. A lot of them was upstate New York. They were a very big tribe. They were also upstate New York. Look that up. That's why George Washington had Washita indigenous people enslaved on his plantation up there in where was his in Mount Vernon. In Mount Vernon. And notice Denzel Washington his family's from Mount Vernon. Hello, Denzel Washington. They were all up in Mount Vernon, the Bronx. They were all over the Eastern Seaboard. I told you these were big tribes. The Washita, like I said, that's where the name Washington come from. A combination of the word Wessington and Washita became Washington. That's why, if you notice, you only see black people with that name. You only see so-called black, I'm just saying so-called black people with that name, bronze people with that name. You don't never see white people. You rarely, if anything, can ever see white people with the name Washington. Notice that? All right? These are all of these are indigenous people. And you see, like I said, Tariq Nasheed was calling us pretendians. He was saying, oh, when you come up there and say you got indigenous, and oh, there's a pretendian, you a pretendian. So he was leaning more toward the African thing. But then he turns around and say he don't have no African slave ships in his family. So then what are you saying? You're not African? Oh, no, he'll turn around and say, yeah, we all got African genetics. We all African. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a made-up theory from racist Caucasians that all life started in Africa. I've been debunked that and disproved that. How you going to say all life started in Africa when they have not searched every square inch of the earth to prove otherwise? If you have not searched every square inch of the earth outside of Africa, then you cannot definitively say all life started in Africa. Hello? Do y'all know damn well they didn't search every inch of the earth looking for the oldest fossils and whatnot? They continue in the search, but until they have searched every square inch of the earth, they cannot say all life started in Africa. That is a theory. That is at best a theory, and at worst a damn belief. And he goes and notice he adheres to a lot of the made up pseudo intellectual philosophical theories of the white tea supremacists. Like, we black people, we from Africa, we came from West Africa, all that bullshit. All life started in Africa, bullshit. BS. I call bullshit on all of that. That's nothing but some white tea supremacists made up nonsense, aka white tea racist, white racist bullshit. But obviously, he's willing to go along with that. And yeah, I know I'm using that language, but raw and uncut. Because when I hear BS, I don't like it. I don't like that he tried to clown the brother when the brother was making really good points. We referred to ourselves as bronze people at one point in time. Black was pushed on our people. It don't even make no damn sense. You see? You see? So anyway, I'm about to wrap this up. So you see, anybody got any questions before I wrap this up? Anybody got any questions? I already showed you, like I said, where he coming from. Show you where he coming from. And I ain't got no beef with Tariq Nasheed, nor do I got any beef with people who want to still classify themselves as black. But just understand, stop acting like black is some symbol of power or some symbol of independence, because it is not. It is not. It is a goddamn slave title. It is a goddamn slave title. Stop acting like black is some form of power or independence. It's not. He admitted, Tariq Nasheed just admitted that it's a classification, but he didn't say that it come from white tea supremacists, but it do. And he's willing to be black people. Don't matter if it don't make sense or not. He's willing to call us black people because it goes in alignment with the white tea supremacists. So what does that make him look like? If you're going to shoot down a brother who's making perfect sense, because if we could, you trying to clown it, like I said, bronze and is just a word just like black, but at least the word bronze is more descriptive of our people when you're talking about skin color, because our nationality is American. Our nationality is American. That's it. That's our nationality. That's our lineage. Our lineage is American lineage, or as we say, first American, to get away from the whole these pseudo-Americans here, because everybody other than us is pseudo-Americans. The Caucasians are European, they're not American. The Native Americans are Siberians, they Asiatics, they not American. The Africans, they go without saying, the ones who coming over there, they not American. And so our people, the Arabs are not American, the Asians are not American by nationality. So who does that leave? The people who they lying saying come from West Africa, but they can't provide one slave ship we supposedly came on. They can't tell you why when the Portuguese and these people were saying, talking about the indigenous peoples here in the America, that they was calling us black. They said negros de terras, meaning the blacks of the land, and negros de Guinea, meaning the blacks of Africa, because they used to call Africa Guinea. They call Africa Guinea. The Portuguese. So they acknowledged that there were two different types of slaves. The slaves from America who were of the land, who were only American, and the slaves from Africa who were African. So they were making a distinction right there. Then the white tea supremacists want to come along and fold us into one thing to do what? To cut away who we are as American indigenous people. Why? Because they wanted to replace us. They were the first replacement, the replacement theory. They were the first replacement people that came in and replaced the indigenous people. Now, when you think about America, who do you think about? You think about white people. When you think about America, you think about white people. You don't think about the indigenous copper-colored races who were here that they found. But I'm glad they left that in the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, because what that does show you is that white people are not Americans. They're nowhere indigenous to America, anything. And the description of the real Americans is describing us, because that is us. So they had to do what? They had to black us out. They had to redact us as a people. They had to wipe away our history, and they recruited a whole lot of sellout Sambo coons who were indigenous but decided to be black, like your Prince Hall and all the other Sambo coons who decided to go and be black people because they wanted butter biscuits from these crackers. That go for all of them. They wanted butter biscuits from these crackers. Tariq Nasheed big on talking about butter biscuits, but it seemed like he want butter biscuits as well. Because you willing to bow down to white supremacy by calling yourself a black man, and you telling us that we all should do the same? Fuck out of here. But that's it, man. I'm done on that. Any questions before I close this out? Any question? And the Gullah Geechee are indigenous people. They're not Africans. The Gullah Geechee are indigenous. But any question before we close out? Anybody? Any question before we close it out? Okay, well, if there's no other questions, because I had to address this, man. But listen, FASM Fest, FASMFEST. We got 44 days left. We up to like 10,000 and some change. Could y'all please push the needle? Let's go. We need 14 grand. We need 14K. We got 45 days left. May 16th and May 17th. The First American Street Music Festival, celebrating who we are as First Americans of America. I want all my bronze brothers and bronze sisters. That's right. We using bronze. F black. F being black. See, because in blackness, you got every kind of scum and piece of shit that claim to be black. You got sodomites who are black. You got a bunch of whorish liberated black females. You got a whole bunch of hustlers and gangbangers who all okay with being black. So that's why I'm like, I see all the degeneracy within the black race. So you damn right, I subscribe to being bronze, and so should every other progressive person, because I'm out here talking for progressive bronze people who waking up, people who don't have a slave mentality, that want to sit up here and call themselves black people and be classified as that by the white tea supremacists. Yeah, we moving through the system of white supremacy, but and so is everybody else. But the difference is, and what we have acknowledged, is that we're going to move through on our own terms. We're going to move through on our own terms and say what we are. We're not going with what everybody else, what somebody else calling us. Again, when y'all niggas going to stop being slaves? When you pro-blacks going to stop being slaves to white tea supremacy? You still wearing their names. You still wearing their names. You still following their Jesus and their God. So y'all still a bunch of slaves, man. You're just a bunch of off the plantation slaves. Anybody that's calling themselves black people today, you still got a slave mentality, because you're wearing the title of the slave master. If you calling yourself black, Negro, African American, and now FBA, God damn it, yeah, FBA too, and ADOS, a descendant of slaves, you got a slave mentality, because you sitting up here believing that our only existence here in America came through a damn slave ship serving white people. That's some coon Sambo lie. I'm calling out for what is some Sambo coon history that you got straight from the white tea supremacists. So go donate to FASM Fest. There it is on the screen. FASM Fest, FASMFEST.com. Get involved. Find out how you can get involved. If you want to perform, if you want to set up a table, if you want to donate, please donate to this. Come out to this. We want our people to take part in this. I'm going to be out there running my mouth. You know how I am. I get down on this knowledge. I run my mouth. I'm going to be out there talking. It's going to be 2 days, on the 16th and the 17th at Rodney Cook Senior Park. We're going to have trail rides out there. We're going to have live music. We're going to have bands out there. We're going to have, like I said, we're going to have just a good time, man. It's going to be vendors out there. We're going to have our feathered head crowns out there. And let me say something. Again, I definitely acknowledge self-identity. If people out here want to call themselves FBAs or black or whatever, that's fine. I'm not here to go back and forth with Tariq Nasheed. I honestly don't want black people who identify with black with us. We don't want that. We don't want people who identify with black, because that's a slave mentality, because you still want to identify with the white supremacists who called you black people. That's why I said we think as free people, and we identify ourselves as just what we are, bronze people. We actually picking up where our elders left off at, because they were a lot better off, a lot more prosperous, a lot more ambitious when they referred to themselves as bronze people, copper people, sepia people. They had their own sections in America, Bronzeville and places. So I don't see no Blackville. I don't see no Blackville nowhere. So come out the first American Street Music Festival, celebrate us, who we are, the bronzeness, the beautifulness of who we are. We come in different shades of bronze. Come out to FASM Fest. Go to FASMFest.com. Also, if you agree with this message that we are first Americans of America and America only, join the Republic of America. Go to ROA Worldwide, ROAworldwide.com. Become a registered first American in the Republic of America. Become a registered first American in the Republic of America. Okay? ROA Worldwide, Republic of America, ROAworldwide.com. And also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, Supreme American TV, subscribe to this channel, right? Subscribe to my other channel, Buck Manhattan channel. You know, subscribe over there. That's my other channel. Got some new stuff coming up over there. Also, you can go to my Mentellect Patreon. I'm on there dropping knowledge, dropping jewels, because it's things on there, things I say on there that I can't say on YouTube while I'm raw and uncut. You know, I know I use a lot of adult language, but I'm an adult and I sometimes do that. So it is what it is. I like, you know, I speak freely and I speak passionately and I speak truthfully. You see, I know what I'm looking at. So go over there to Buck Manhattan channel. Also subscribe to our sister Enra Vanzetta Mentangela's American Indigenous channel. Go to the American Indigenous channel. One of our good sisters put up that channel, the American Indigenous channel. Go over there and support that channel. Also support Draconian Rules, draconianrules.com. Good clothing, good t-shirts and things. Also, the sister has a book. Sister Enra Vanzetta has a book. If you could put that up there, she has a book. What's the book Sister Enra Vanzetta has? You know, you can go hit a link for purchase of that book, right? History of America as Told by Americans, book 1, purchase link now in the description. Go to the History of America as Told by Americans. Yeah, go to that. That's Sister Enra Vanzetta Mentangelin's book. Like I said, we over here in our community, we have our own American names. We have our own American language. We have our own American flags within our community. So our things that we doing, we all about community. We have our own American community. And, you know, yeah, we only reaching out to our people who think on the level we think on. I'm not trying to convince, and I just want to make this clear. I'm not trying to convince FBAs to start calling themselves bronze people. I am not. I am not trying to convince FBAs, people who call themselves foundational Black Americans, to call themselves bronze people, because a lot of them are just too slow mentally. So honestly, I don't want to be going back and forth about skin color when you can clearly see we bronze skin people. We are those bronze skin, copper colored people. You damn right. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. If you got your mind made up that you a Black person, have at it. I'm not going to try to free the slaves from the slave master. I'm not. Y'all stay with the white man. Stay going back and forth with him about black and white. We done with that. We moving on. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening to this cast. I'll be back on Friday. I'll be on camera. You know, I thought I was going to get on camera today, but I said, you know what? Let me just knock this out, because I wanted to. And I told all these people, yo, man, y'all, those who had comments, questions, who want to defend Blackness, you go ahead, be Black, man. I'm not going to argue with you. We only want our people. We a segment of our people. And like I said, I don't mind being a segment of the people who are woken up, who have a progressive mind, who are coming out of Blackness, because there's too many Black degenerates. There's too many degenerates in the Black race, in the so-called Black race. Too many degenerates in the so-called Black race. So we moving on, man. We only want our progressive bronze people who are forward thinking, who are not thinking with a slave mentality, who are not going to identify with being Black because the white supremacists say so. That sound like I'm white, not say so. What Tariq Nasheed was saying would sound like the white man he said you Black and it's because he say so. That's really what he was saying. But that's it, man. I'm going to close this out in the name of Lord Amen, by the power of Lord Amen. I close this out and everything, and I send you out in beautiful salutations. what I'm going to close with. I want to close with some music. I need me some music to close with. All right. Good night. No.
When I came to this town, there was nothing that was holding me back. Couple years of running around, you start to question your convictions. Long car, jet black, fast loving, that's a fact. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold heart will pay it back. Mind those games that you play. Back then you were a friend of mine. Everything was black and white. This city life has changed your mind. Expose the gray of your conviction. Long car, jet black, hard loving, break your back. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold eyes won't change the fact. Mind those games that you play. Long car, jet black, fast loving, that's a fact. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold heart will pay it back. Mind those games that you play. Long car, jet black, hard loving, break your back. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, When I came to this town, there was nothing that was holding me back. Couple years of running around, you start to question your convictions. Long car, jet black, fast loving, that's a fact. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold heart will pay you back. Mind those games that you play. Back then you were a friend of mine. Everything was black and white. The city life has changed your mind. Expose the gray of your convictions. Long car, jet black, hard loving, break your back. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold eyes won't change the fact. Mind those games that you play. Long car, jet black, fast loving, that's a fact. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold heart will pay you back. Mind those games that you play. Long car, jet black, hard loving, break your back. Mind those words that you say. when I came to this town. There was nothing that was holding me back. Couple years of running around, you start to question your convictions. Long car, jet black, fast loving, that's a fact. Mind those words that you say. High heel, gold strap, cold heart will pay you back. Mind those games that you play.